Welcome back to the Always Busted Garage. My name is Jim Davis with It's Always Busted in Philadelphia, and today we have a special treat, the Flex 24-volt cordless brushless combo kit from Lowe's. You may be wondering how I got my hands on this. I'm wondering myself. They appeared as available to order on Lowes.com, have since disappeared, but when I placed my order, I waited a few days and here they are, fresh off the FedEx truck. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into unboxing these things and getting our first look at the tools. All right, here we go. Let's get these things unboxed. So, might not need a knife. I don't think I see any tape on here. Oh! Okay. Appears I either opened this upside down or they had the tools in there upside down, but that's okay. We have the lovely flashlight. Interesting to note that these are Ziploc bags, and the Ziploc bags are open. So I know I ordered an early model here. We have the drill. It's a nice drill. I like the fit and finish. The gray color is understated. It has a Jacob's chuck, but we'll go through each tool individually. We've got our impact driver. We've got the fast charging dock, just a one-port fast charger. Full plug, you know, some mounting holes on the back. Got the reciprocating saw. This is hefty in the hand. We'll have to weigh this. It has a nice rafter hook on it. But again, we'll look at these in more detail. All right, and we've got our two batteries. 2.5 amp hour. Looks like there should be a button on here somewhere to check the battery level. There's a LED indicator. Huh. Maybe I have to have them inserted in the tool, I should say, for this LED indicator to work. But all right, we got two of those. They're both the same. We have 1, 2, 3 belt clips, and then we have, looks like maybe a T20 star bit and a Phillips bit and a couple screws in there. The screws would be to attach the belt clip. We have our set of user manuals. It looks like there's actually like a sticker decal if you want to put it on your toolbox, and there are two reciprocating saw blades. And finally, I think, yeah, finally, we have a nice contractor bag. Let me get this box off the table and we'll go through each tool one by one. Okay, so first let's take a look at the 2.5 amp hour battery from Flex. You can see it weighs 1 pound, 5.8 ounces, so almost 1.5 pounds. You've got your battery meter button on the front. That activates these LEDs on the side. 4-segment green LED. There's a little bit of bleed over from each segment. It almost looks like the second segment's lit up here on the camera, but I can tell looking at it that's just the light bleeding over into the next segment. You've got your release button here. And it looks like the battery has 1, 2, 3, 4 pins. 4 contacts on it. It's got more slots than that, but just 4 contacts. You've got one marked plus, one marked minus. And then you've got D and C. So some sort of two-way control between the battery and the tool probably. I should say two-way communication. So that's your 2.5 amp hour battery. Let's take a look at the impact driver. The impact driver weighs in at, this light is brutal, 2 pounds, 6.6 ounces. And, you know, it feels good in your hand. I really like this diamond pattern grip. I like the feel of it. You know, the length here from the back of the body to the trigger is nice. It has good heft to it. It's a nice little tool. Okay, so with the battery inserted, you can see, I'll save you the math, it weighs 3 pounds, 12.5 ounces. When you activate the trigger, it illuminates the LED light, which is located above the battery release button here. It stays on for several seconds after you activate the trigger. As far as the collet, this is one of the bits that came in the pack. I believe it's a T20. Oh, here we go. It's labeled. Go figure. T25, right there. So this is not, you know, a one-handed, so to speak, insertion. You actually have to pull the collet to insert the bit, and then of course you have to pull it to release it. But if you just try to push it in, it does not want to go in there. So that's a little bit disappointed. I kind of, and even when you pull it, it doesn't just spring the bit out. You still have to pull it out. So I would hope for a little bit better of a collet there, but what are you going to do? The forward and reverse action is easy to push. It's relatively smooth. I have some M12 tools in particular that I notice that tends to feel like it's stuck, or if you're not very deliberate and it's not fully engaged, you might not notice till you go to pull the trigger. As far as speed control, I'm a little bit disappointed. This has no speed controls. You get the one speed in forward and the one speed in reverse. You know, this is your basic impact driver model that comes in this combo kit. I assume they're going to have more high-end models that have multiple speeds and modes, but this is just your basic forward reverse. As far as speed control, now I guess I should get the trigger. Watch how far in I have to push the trigger before it activates. So I'd say a third of the way. So it activates there. And that's that. So that's what you get with the Impact. Single speed, LED light down here. You know, I tend to like the LEDs, you know, multiple around the collet. But you just get the one down here, which, depending on where your hand is or how you're oriented, you know, it may or may not illuminate your workpiece effectively. Overall, good fit and finish, good material quality, feels good in the hand, but I'm going to have to ding it for being a single speed. Okay, let's take a look at the drill. Of course, you have your drill mode as well as 21 clutch settings. Plastic clutch adjustment ring here. You've got a Jacobs metal chuck, which is pretty nice. I don't know if you can see the Jacobs logo there, but it's there. So nice smooth action Jacobs metal chuck. You've got your 2-speed gear selection here. It's got a good action to it. Nice deliberate shift. Pretty smooth. Your forward reverse, again, on this is pretty good. Doesn't feel like it gets stuck. You've also got the LED light down near your battery release button, again, just like the impact wrench. Just get a closer look at the front of the chuck there. That does feel nice and smooth when you rotate it. Let's check out the speed control in 1. And in 2. That's pretty nice. Again, same overmold grip as the impact wrench. I really like the chuck on this thing. Honestly, this feels like a little bit better quality tool than the impact wrench did. I'm sorry, impact driver. And it weighs in with the 2.5 amp hour battery at 4 pounds, 8 ounces. So it's a good, hefty, solid drill. Let's move on to the reciprocating saw next. Now we've got the big boy, the reciprocating saw. It's got 2 modes, orbital and standard is what I would call them. It has a LED light basically in the shoe, which is kind of cool, so it'll shine right down the blade. It has a rafter hook, which is handy if you're doing framing, demolition in a house that's been gutted down to the studs, that kind of thing. Here you've got a trigger lock that prevents accidental activation of the saw when you don't want it to be activated. And, you know, it's pretty hefty. Let's get it on the old scale here. This weighs in at 8 pounds, 12 ounces. So this is a pretty heavy-duty saw, at least by weight. Obviously, we'll have to test it out and put it through its paces. As far as blade change, I'm going to have to set up a camera to do that because I can't do it one-handed. Probably going to want to have the collet extended if you can. So you can just run it out like that. Lock your blade or your trigger, take your battery out. Oops. We will try the 9-inch demolition wood with nails blade. See, now it actually appeared that it just inserted without needing to twist, which is kind of nice. Except then I was able to push the motor in. And then to remove, so once this is retracted, it makes it a little bit tough. You almost have to have it out like that to be able to get to the collet to remove the blade. So again, once it's removed, that collet kind of locks in an open position, and it just lets you insert the blade without twisting the collet. It also has a nice rubber overmold on the front. You can see it's flexible here, so if you're hitting things, it's not going to get beat up and damaged quite as much as if it was plastic all the way to the top. We've also got a shoe removal button here, so if I can get that, there we go. It comes out and it essentially has 3 notches there. So you can actually reinsert it. Get over the blade here. You can actually reinsert it at a few different depths. All the way in. Well, you get the idea. There we go. So there's one setting. Third setting. And if you're careful, you can get that in between setting. So that is a look at the reciprocating saw. Let's try the 2 different modes. The orbital mode and regular mode. So this is regular mode. And this is supposedly orbital mode. They kind of look they look awfully similar to me. What do you guys think? So that's that. But a pretty hefty, it feels like a hefty saw, okay? All right, finally, you have the LED flashlight. You can see I've turned off the shop lights, garage lights in here. Gives you a pretty good beam. You can see how trashy my garage is. But, you know, it's an LED flashlight. It's nothing too special. They throw it in with every kit so they can say it's a so many piece combo kit. But it'll do the job. You can set it down on flat on its base. It angles, you know, things like that. So that is your Flex LED flashlight. So what do I think of these tools? Well, my first impressions are that the drill driver is a nice heavy-duty tool, nice metal Jacobs chuck, feels good in the hand. The reciprocating saw also feels like a heavy-duty contractor-grade tool. It's got the rafter hook, you know, it's got a good, sturdy, stamped steel shoe. The impact driver, I feel like Flex fell a little short on this. It lacks any speed control, and honestly, that's my main gripe, but it's significant. If you're trying to drive screws in a little bit more of a delicate fashion, it's nice to be able to set it to speed 1, or if you're doing self-tappers, have a self-tapper mode. There's just one speed, that's what you get. You have to pull the trigger about 1/3 of the way in before you start spinning, so the speed control is not precise enough to merit not having a separate speed control. So those are my first impressions. Up next, what we want to do is put these up against Milwaukee M18 Fuel Gen 3 tools, specifically for the drill driver and the impact driver, because after all, that's how Chervon and Lowe's are marketing these tools, as ones that can keep up with and take on those top tier contractor grade tools. So be sure to like this video if you found it interesting, useful, or entertaining. Be sure to subscribe, and most importantly, hit that bell so that you know when those M18 and Flex head-to-head battles are posted. And as always, it's always busted in Philadelphia.
Hello, I'm Jim Davis.